A very good evening to you all. My name is Jamie Morris and I'm presenting you Cone Racing League for Tier 4, which is round number 4 at Losail Grand Prix in Qatar. And today is, joining me today is Kalen. How you doing, mate? You alright?
Hello Jamie, yes, welcome back everybody. Yeah, looking forward to this one. If anything from last week's to go off of, well, it ended in a cracker, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, mate, indeed, especially in the last lap where we saw Harry Palmer and Lozano Zera have a battle all the way towards the end, and for the second time in a row, Lozano Zera wins, but not today because she's not here. She's a reserve driver, so that's why you won't see an appearance for, with her tonight. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, you know, because I've actually never commentated over this track before, obviously, and also not really done too many laps around here, so I'm still getting used to the track myself, just trying to figure out where the corners are, what turns, where the turns are as well, what number turns there are. But yeah, it should be a bit interesting one and see what happens here. 18-minute qualifying session here, and should be a 32 lap race if I remember correctly. And this track was introduced back in 2021 when the Australian Grand Prix was cancelled once again because of COVID, so they looked for a replacement track and got Qatar in. Qatar mainly used for MotoGP. We've seen some great action in MotoGP before. Obviously many people might not be fans of MotoGP, but if you are, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, then go over to watch MotoGP because it's really interesting, especially right here as well. Qatar, it's great for racing here and the superbike world, I mean motorbike world, but in Formula 1 I think we're about to find out what happens there, Kalen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good race. So the interesting track here, Qatar. It's all just crazy long, fast sweeping corners, high downforce track. But the drivers that can use lower wings can be brave enough are really going to benefit from that low drag down that main straight. So yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, no Lozano Zera today, so yeah, that's one that she's going to miss, and perhaps we can get a Palmer win, or perhaps a Baza or King Panda win today.
Yeah, I think Palmer still searching for his first race win after being denied once again in the last two races, and also the Mexican Grand Prix as well, where he led majority of it in a second stint. It all fell apart. One ball with Crago then, as he's one of the first drivers that usually goes out there along with Dragon of Speed. He's into turn number 4 now in this double right-hander we go into turn number 5 and flat out through there. As we come into this slow speed corner, then slow it all down into turn number 6 that is. Get back in the throttle once again then as we make our way now into turn number 7. So many high speed, mid speed corners around here. You've got to be very committed through here as well. This is a great part of the track as well because you can run out wide through there and validate very easy then coming through this flat out right hander, swinging back in this left hander, get a wide entry to go good exit through here. Gets in the power then as we make our run up now towards the triple right hander, one of my favourite parts of the track in 2021. It was very interesting to watch. You're going to be fully committed, you're going to carry a lot of speed, stay flat out in these three corners, because if you don't, that's a slight lift off for Crago. If you don't stay flat out, you're going to lose a lot of time. Into this left hander we go, flick it in almost flat out through there, but now we're coming towards the final corner then, braking after the 50-meter ball, get the car rotated, get back in the throttle immediately and using all the curb on the exit with DRS enabled. There's only one DRS zone around here in Qatar, and now deployed used, it says on Crago's dash there. It's a 22.1, Kalen, as our benchmark.
Yeah, good lap there from Crago, and yeah, you can notice there that the ERS runs out just as you cross the line. It's a really heavy ERS usage track as well, heavy usage on the fuel. It's all about the drag and the top end speed here at Qatar. So as Pershman is 4/10 off of Crago, and Palmer goes 22.0 as provisional pole so far.
Indeed, mate. He took it away by a tenth as we've got more drivers in the lap time. Baza slots into P3 behind Crago, and Leon's in P4. Polishman on the return in P5. Panda, however, has gone into P6. I think the Austrian Grand Prix race winner is up there as well. And Fandango, last week's pole sitter, is up into P4 as well. He'll be looking to improve on that. Only 6,000 slower. We've got some very close times around here. Aizen in the Ferrari is in P7 as well. Chugs in P9. Mays in P10. Then so half the field set a lap and half the field not. As I say that though, somebody's just got up the order. I can't quite tell who that was. Was it Mazwell's in P9? Yes, it is. A 23.0. Who had a horrendous Australian Grand Prix. Looked like he was on a recovery drive, but unfortunately he spun once again as well. So you can see yellow flags around this circuit. All the drivers then getting out of the way, just in case drivers come up on their flying laps then. So who else out there on a flying lap? Marshall's have validated it. So Fian is coming through now. Turn number, if I can get this right, is it 6? I think it is 6 then coming out of that corner. Yes, it is turn number 6 then. We're in the first set, so nearly the end of it. Coming towards turn 7 then. And we'll see how he takes it then, coming out of that one very important not to go out wide through there. I've done it by plenty of bad times myself as well. Kalen, have you driven much of this track, mate?
I've driven a little bit of it, not had so much time to practice for my race on Thursday, but yeah, done a little bit of racing around here in other leagues. I find it a tough track with the track limits here. We're picking up the penalties, so that's going to be an important factor here as we're heading to the race. That the drivers want to keep it in between the white lines and to keep them penalties down. That's going to be important towards the end of the race.
I concur with that one as well, because plenty of people pick up penalties, like you said, going out wide to kind of a bit too much speed as well. And you can see Sophia in the deployment used already. You can definitely tell the difference in downforce settings, because Palmer, he sets a 22.4 and he's in P8 ahead of his teammate. Palmer had some ERS to spare across the line then, so he's able to use the extra power he had to outdrag Crago essentially and put himself into P1 there. So it's very interesting to see who runs out of ERS. It's like an Austria situation, I think, in last game where it was quite easy. I think it was Portugal, that was the track where people ran out of ERS before the line then. So we'll see who's got the best setups on their car. Too much drag, obviously, you lose well, essentially you have to speed down the straight, so you use more deployment than you would have wanted with a low downforce. You're carrying more speed, and you have some ERS towards the end of the lap as well, and that could crucially cost you as well, especially in qualified here, as you need all the deployment around here to get the best lap times in. But majority of drivers then are in the pit lane. We've just got Chunders, Marshall, Jay Hartnell, Glowstick, and Verona Flash. We saw Marshall invalidate his lap time. He's on the track somewhere. There he is then. Let's see what he's doing. He's backed out of it. Has Marshall then, so not a second lap time on this occasion. And we've got Scott, Priority Gaming, James Forster, Kyle, George Hargreaves in the chat. Welcome everybody to the chat. Hopefully you're all doing alright. Marshall's going for a lap, it seems. He looks like he stayed out there for more than one lap then, so we'll see how he progresses. We've got Jay Hartnell there, Austrian Grand Prix race winner last season. It's out there in the Red Bull. Both Red Bulls yet to set a lap time, along with Glowstick and Verona Flash, so hopefully those drivers can get a lap on the board. Marshall's crossed the line to do a 42.4, so that's his third lap on the same set of tyres. And obviously with the high-speed corners, mid-speed corners here, you don't want to go for more than one lap, otherwise you won't get the best lap times going for more runs on the same set. So obviously he's fueled the car for more than one or two laps, and he's looks like he's backed off already because he's not using ERS. Is Marshall is flashing. Bearing in mind though, it is a night race. Does the ERS usually flash in a night race like that?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think they only get the flashing lights in the wet conditions, so in a night race it shouldn't really make much of a problem. But yeah, Marshall, I believe, backed out of his last lap because he only actually crossed the line with 90% ERS to start his next lap. So I think he's going to be struggling towards the end of this lap if he's going to run out of ERS.
You can't really do consecutive lap times around any track because the ERS is only meant for one flying lap, and you won't see many people doing that. You can see Jay Hartnell deployed used already, and he goes up into P11 with a 22.9, so just off the fringes of the top 10 as Ross currently occupies P10 with a 22.8. There looks like a gap from P9 to P10 with 0.3 of a difference then, so still plenty of lap time to improve there. What about Chunders, his teammate? Let's see what he does then as he makes his way now into turn 6 we go then, and that's a slow speed corner. You want to get it correct here as we make our way now into turn 7. Let's see how it takes. It looks like a bit of hesitation on towards the entry. The important thing is don't go out wide. You want to use all the trackers you can get away with, but obviously without invalidating your lap time then as we come through the slow speed corner of I can't actually remember, I've not really memorised the track. Turn 10, that's turn 11. Turn 12 is the start of the right-handers then, so I keep my references on that. And obviously you want to be flat, fully committed through here. And let's see how it takes these three corners. Slight lift off at entry towards turn 14. Now into turn 15 we go. Slight lift off. Some people use 6th gear maybe for the extra rotation or just to rev it out through 6th gear. Some people use 7s depending how confident you are through those corners. Now make his way out the final corner is Chunders then. Let's see how good this lap time is as he makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 21.6 for him. For Crago, it's a 22.4 for Chunders as Crago takes pole. The first man to get in the 21s then is Crago. 0.4 is the gap. That's a huge difference there.
Yeah, that's a great lap there by Crago. He's really showing what he's made of here in this high downforce track. But yeah, such a satisfying final sector here with the three flat corners. It's for me probably the best sequence of corners on the game.
I agree as well. You also got a triple right-hander, but it is flat through there, but it's not as good as turn 12, 13 and 14, and that is at Texas, at USA, what I'm talking about. 2/10 up, almost 3/10 is Bazza, so this could put him into P2, depending if you can find more time. There's a Ferrari there, or Alfa Romeo getting off the track. And let's see how it takes it there. Through 7th gear goes Bazza there, so I think it is a 7th gear corner, but obviously not practiced around the track for a long time, so I took it through 6th, but I think 7th is the way to go now. As Bazza makes his way out the final corner then, it's just very interesting to see how much ERS people have got towards the end of the lap. As Bazza makes his way now towards the line, it's going to be a 21.8, and it's a McLaren 1-2 so far, and 2/10 separate those two then, so good times from both McLarens there, especially Crago as well. We haven't seen much of this season, but he's up there so far. And Palmer then, he said he's done a 21.2 Kalen in his practice sessions. Can he replicate that? We're about to find out. He's cutting a lap time in the Williams, is Harry Palmer then, so let's see what he could do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Harry Palmer has definitely got the pace of pole here, especially with Lozana Serra as well. I can see Harry Palmer taking a win tonight.
If everything goes his way, because I don't know what it is, but his win's been taken away. He's probably not aggressive enough. He's not right on the timings of when to attack or when not to attack, etc. In the Mexico Grand Prix, he was not really quick on the second stint on the medium compound tyres when he switched over from the hards. Lightened in pace, but he said he used all of his ERS on the opening stint on the mediums. But here we go then. Palmer makes his way towards the line. It's going to be a 21.6. He says he's got quickest. No, they actually match times. It's a 21.6 for Crago and Palmer, and they both share the front row. But because Crago did his lap time first, he's on pole position then. That is unbelievable around this circuit to be matching times like that. I thought Palmer went quickest, and I saw second place. I was like, what? And wow, that is just incredible, Kayla.
Yeah, that's insane. With so many corners, it's so unusual to be identical on a track like this. You expect that almost in a place like Austria. But didn't we have something similar in Qatar in a pre-season race? Do I not remember? Or there were two drivers, P1 and P2, with identical times.
I actually can't remember that far back, to be honest with you. But
I think there might have been.
I know there's been several occasions where P15 and P16, back in the Q1, Q2, Q3 system, we had that situation where people set the exact same lap times, but we got knocked out. I think I'm talking about real life as well. I think it was like back in 2020 where I actually can't remember who set the exact same lap time as each other. I think it was Grosjean and somebody else in 2020s. But in league racing, I've not really seen that people joining time. So yeah, it's nice to witness here, especially in Qatar as well.
Yeah, especially in Qatar, yeah, it's super impressive. You know, what is there, like 16, 17 corners around here, so yeah, to be so identical, that's quite impressive from them both.
With 5 minutes left in the session then, we've got Fandango out there going for a flying lap as he exited turn number 10 then. Last week's pole sitter led majority of the race, but unfortunately in that last safety car, not quite sure what happened to him, whether he sustained any contact or it just wasn't in the rhythm, but hopefully he's always got good pace, like I've said in every single race. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Fandango there unfortunately invalidated the exit at turn 15 and straight in the pit lane then. There's no recovering from that. Even if you got the fuel, you need a full amount of ERS to go for a flying lap around here, because you can see it's already down to like 6% already. So unfortunately they're invalidated in the worst places possible where all the hard work is undone. It's so easy, so tempting to use all the track there, but it's too much unfortunately. So we've still got majority of drivers in the pit lane. I think King Panda in P7 there is on a lap time. He's 3/10 up. Let's keep an eye on him then. He could be also joining the 21 club as we make our way towards the final corner then, with DRS enabled for this one DRS zone only around here. Is going to be a 21.6. Wow, he takes pole. He found I think 2/10 in that last sector, just under 2/10, and he snatches it away by 6,000ths of a second then. Incredible stuff there. The top three super close around here on this new track in Qatar. I say new, it's been introduced in 2021, but obviously we had the World Cup last year in Qatar, but it returns here on the 2023 calendar, and Panda currently tops the timing sheets with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go on the clock. Palmer must be frustrated knowing that he set the exact same lap time, but Crago did it first. How would you react to that situation, Caleb, if you set the exact same lap time but did it second?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely just one of the most frustrating things. I've seen that happen to me before, but yeah, how do you deal with that? Well, you put a fresh set on and you go even quicker. So let's see how they do. Most drivers are going to get another lap in. Maybe these guys that are out there at the moment might struggle, but yeah, King Panda P1 just 100th of a second quicker than P2. it's hard to not be too celebrating if that King Panda, one of my teammates and the Haas drivers. So yeah, a great quality so far for him.
I know King Panda's had a bit of a difficult race in the last few races, and he won the first opening race of the season battling with Bazza, who's currently there in P4. He had a difficult race in Australia, I think it was Japan, where he did suffer some contact but came back strongly to finish in P4. And the other one, the Australian Grand Prix, I think he finished in P5 then. So not seen the podium since the first opening race where he won it. Hopefully it's not the Crago effect. No offense, Crago, because Crago won the first opening round and he didn't get podiums after that a few races ago. So hopefully he don't suffer the same fate there. But the last two race winners, or the last two races, the race winner has been Lozano Zero, who is a reserve then. So Palmer will be absolutely frustrated that a reserve is winning and stealing his races for the last two races in a row. But in the championship standings, we've got King Panda leading ahead of Bazza by 9 points. Palmer is P3 with 13 points behind Panda. Sofian in P4, Fandango in P5, and Verona Flash in P6 there. Both Hasses going really strong as well. I say that Verona Flash is in 20th with no laps on the board for him, so hopefully he can find a lap. Mays has retired from the session for some reason. I'm not quite sure what happened there to Mays, but it's quite a hard track to actually crash out because there's so much runoff area, isn't there, Kaelan? So it's quite hard to crash around here.
Yeah, it's tough. You see a lot of drivers spinning out, especially in the low speed sectors like here. But yeah, to crash out, hit the wall, you've got a long distance to travel, so you have to be losing the car at quite some speed.
And we've got Bazza, who went for a lap in the first sector. He was a few hundreds down in that first sector, but unfortunately has invalidated. Chunders has retired. I'm not quite sure if that was in the pit lane or not, but we're reaching the closing stages of qualifying, and the most interesting stage of qualifying. Let's go on board with Fandango, 1/10 up in the first sector there. Can he continue his good run? Because that 1/10 up could put him into P4. Let's see how much time he's found in this middle sector then as he makes his way now. Let's see, going into this right-hander we go, the triple right-hander, and he takes it very nicely, downshifted to 5th gear, and not quite sure if that's a flat tire corner or not in the second part of the right-hander, but we'll see then how much time he's lost or gained as we make our way now. Bazza has retired in the pit lane then, so that's his qualifying done and dusted. You best hope the guys behind do not improve their lap times then as we make our way through this fast right-hander we go before we reach this low-speed corner as we head into turn number 10 then. And this is turn 11, not really a corner turn 11, it's just like Austria really, but now we're coming toward, it is a corner for MotoGP obviously, and we're coming into the triple right-hander here, very flat, should be sticking to the throttle there, in 7th gear, downshifted to 6th is Fandango then, so not really confident, but this is critical for him, because this is where he validated last time, not bad, but suffered a bit of oversteer on the way out of the corner as we go into turn number 16 then. Let's see how much time he's found or lost in this last part of qualifying. DRS is enabled then, 10 seconds left to go in qualifying. We've got Fandango making his way towards the line now. It's a 21.6. Wow, 4 drivers in the 21.6 club. This is incredible. This is how tantalisingly close it is between these drivers. King Panda apparently has gone 5/10 quicker in the first sector. I'm not quite sure if that's true or not. He's on his flying lap right now. I'm not quite sure if he's backed off or not. I don't think he has. He's still going for it. 1/10 down in the middle sector there. I'm not quite sure if you saw that, but he was 5/10 up apparently in the first sector. I'm not quite sure if that was his previous lap or that the first sector itself. But anyways, he's 1/10 down in the middle sector. I think Williams has crossed the line. Crago's in the pit lane. And we're just awaiting Harry Palmer to see what he could do as he crossed the line. He gets a 21.5 and he takes pole position away by over the 10th ahead of King Panda. King Panda, however, still yet to finish his lap time. He's a few hundreds up in this last sector. He needs to find more time if he wants to take pole position away from Harry Palmer. Very nice, very fast in the triple right-hander. As we make our way into turn 50 we go. 6th gear, flat out through there. Downshifted to 6th Panda. A few people taking flat out through 7th. Marshall gets a lap time on the board. He is P5. Good performance there from Marshall. Very late in qualifying, he must be said. But here comes then Panda. Can he take pole away? It's going to be a 21.5. And he snatches pole away by 600ths of a second there. And he found a lot of time at that sector as well. So Panda takes pole away from Palmer. And Crago P3 ahead of Fandango then. What a qualifying session there, Kaelan.
Oh my goodness me, yeah, that's a great session. What a great lap there, right at the death by King Panda. He's going to be happy to be back on pole position, looking to reinstate his wins. And yeah, so once again, a really close qualifying. P1 to P5 separated within 2/10, and then not much further back then with 2 drivers in P6, P7 separated by 1/1000th of a second. So Yeah, I think this could be the tier with the closest qualifying times.
And one Haas at the front and one Haas at the back, just like it was in Brazil in the sprint qualifying where Kevin Magnussen top pole position and Mick Schumacher unfortunately started last in that race, if you remember. But look at the gaps then. Panda on pole, the good start position for him in the championship, who is second in the championship I believe, or is he first? I just looked at it a few seconds ago. That's how quick I can lose my memory. But yeah, Panda is first in the championship standings then, so that'll definitely help him, because Bazza is in 7th and Palmer is right behind him then, so the top 3 in the championship first and second, while Bazza is in 7th. Got a lot of work to do then. And there is the qualifying results. We're nice to see Polishman back in action in the Aston Martin, qualifying in 10th place, Glosick in P12, Ross unfortunately outside the top 10. We used to see him in the Alpine along with his teammate Leon. Those two I think were great teammates back then. It used to be always interesting with both Alpines there, Ross and Leon together.
Yeah, absolutely interesting. You can see there Verona Flash hasn't set a lap time for qualifying. So are we thinking that maybe he had a qualifying ban for this session?
I haven't really been on board with him in the whole of qualifying, unfortunately. So maybe just out there, just not setting a lap time. Like maybe he did a few laps to get used to the track, then just went back to the pit lane immediately, not to register a lap time, because I'm not really seen out there on the track, so he must have had a qualifying ban. Otherwise, there's no other explanation. But Panda's pumped up. In the chat, he says, let's go. And that's good for his championship standings. Then Palmer, for the 3rd time in a row, is looking for a win here tonight. His 3rd attempt at winning, because he wasn't really close in the Austrian Grand Prix. He was fighting for P3. But the P3 battle, he had a DRS train right behind him then, so he couldn't really pull away from those guys or catch up to the top 2. So he was a fighter of his own. But obviously, it started raining towards the end of Austria, and that's when it all went downhill for him, because I left the session. And that's why I don't remember Austria, because I did leave the session. So yeah, when I came back, it was raining, and a few drivers made a pit stop a few laps before to go to soft compound tyres. Then eventually went on the inters, and I think Panda undercutted Bazza, and eventually went on to win the race. However, Palmer caught up with a few spins, and both Ferraris took action, and I think scored in 4th and 5th. Sofian scored in P3 on the podium as well, so that's how much it can change. But we're about to see what happens here, as there's no formation lap, I think. Oh yes, there is actually. I think the game's updated.
Yeah, this is the first week back where we're having the formation lap since the updates of the from Codemasters, so they've finally had a chance to fix their game. They have.
Oh yeah, Kalen, whatever you do, mate, don't check the race director, because that's still glitched, because you can't get off the screen. So I made a mistake yesterday when I checked the race director for penalties or invalidation lap times, and I couldn't get off the screen.
Okay, understood. Yeah, we will be mindful for that. But yeah, so the constructors standings: Ferrari P1, Alfa Romeo P2, Haas P3. Has been locked off the top spot since last week, from last week. So yeah, Panda looking to have a good result here, hopefully, and I'll be looking forward to that as well, because as a Haas driver as well, looking forward to get back to the front.
And one Haas at the front. Can Verona Flash make his way through the field and try and get some decent points? I think he needs to score 12 or 13 to get some points on the board then, so he's got a lot of work in his hands. Has Verona Flash, Ruban in P18, unfortunately, Dak Ronan, Jay Hartnell, disappointing qualifying for him as well. Both Red Bulls there looking to try and score some decent points here tonight. And Ross, I dare say, is also out of position. By the way, Bailey won't believe me that fuel is bad around here. He's gone with only +1. Dumb.
Well, yeah. I think only +1 with no safety car, he's going to struggle with that. I think I've been hearing a lot of whispers that drivers are taking 2.5 laps plus.
We'll see then. If there is a safety car, that'll definitely help him. But what are the chances here of a safety car? Because I've not really raced around here, but I know there's lots of runoff areas, so it'll be quite difficult for safety cars to be coming out. It depends where you crash, really. If it's the final corner, you spin in the wall, then the chance of a safety car, but I can't really see anywhere else having a chance of a safety car then.
Yeah, I think it could be the safety car opportunities are going to be out of the final corner and at turn 1 as well. That's where the wall seems to be the closest, as Panda takes his grid position in P1, and he'll be waiting there for the rest of the grid to line up.
So a few balanced strategies then. Palmer is on the medium compound tyres like he was in Australia, and Sofian has been disqualified. He's on the mediums as well, along with Bazza, Ross, Chugs, Chunders, Ruban and Verona Flash. and nobody starting on the soft compound tyres like there was in Australia then. And Mays, Verona Flash also been disqualified. Verona Flash been disqualified for going the wrong way. I don't know how you do that. Oh, he's been disqualified for formation lap, not the actual race itself. 5 laps then are underway. And we are away for round 4 at the Qatar Grand Prix then. Look at that, massive wheel spin for Panda as Palmer gets a good start. He overtakes Panda as Fandango are looking up the inside now. Into turn number 1 we go then. We saw Alonso and Gasly go side by side here in 2021. Panda sticks around the outside there, maintaining position further behind. The Aston Martin has tagged the back of the Alpine. He got out of shape, but thankfully saved the car then. He's getting swallowed up by the second McLaren of Baza as they go side by side. A few yellow flags there into turn number 1 and turn 2 we go. But I think they all get away unscathed then. A few hairy moments there. Baza all over the back of Sophia and then both on the medium compound tyres. And Sophia has actually hit the back of Craigo. Sends Craigo out wide, sends himself out wide. And Baza says, thank you very much. I'll take 2 places for 1 there. And moves himself up into P4 then. So he's done a teammate a massive favour. And now he's up into P4. Looks like Sofia's struggling now. Did he sustain any front wing damage? I'm not quite sure. Certainly look at the understeer he's sustaining. He did tap the back of Craigo quite hard. Yes, he has. He's missing a right end plate there. Marshall is all over the back of him, so unfortunately for Sofian, braking too late has cost him a lot of time then.
So unfortunately there, whatever happened to Verona Flash in the warm-up lap has actually ended his race, as he's been disqualified from the session, and that's going to be his race over. If safety car comes out, that's Ian Marshall with a spin, and he's unfortunately out of the race. But yeah, Verona Flash is out of this race due to what happened under the formation lap, so definitely not ideal for him and his team.
Oh, because I remember going backwards at the formation lap by accident. I got disqualified from the formation lap, not the actual race itself. Sofian is in the pit. Oh, that's unfortunate for Verona Flash. Whatever happened, maybe he missed his grid box. I'm not quite sure. Maybe if you do miss your grid box, it'll just automatically reset you there. So I wonder what happened to him then down in P20, but that's him out of the race. Marshall's out of the race. Marshall got tagged by the Aston Martin because the Alfa Romeo Marshall was looking out for Sophia and he was going slowly through the corners, and the person behind him didn't really respond or adapt to his situation and therefore hit the back of him and caused Marshall to crash then in the high-speed corners. So that's him out of the race, unfortunately for Marshall. And yeah, we've got a few people pitting then. Interestingly, I thought I saw Bazza go in the pit lane, but he hasn't. That was Sofian for an early pit stop. And a few people down there going for an early pit stop as well. Looks like they get rid of the hard compound tyre and put in a set of mediums then. So it might be a 2-stop for those two down in P17 and P18 of Ross and Jay Hartnell. Disappointing qualifying, looking to make amends. Maybe they got caught up in the first lap incident as well, because we saw the yellow flags in the first part of the lap, so maybe those two got caught up in some incidents as well. And the safety cars are. Anyways, Mazzles, what's happened to him? Did he spin? He's down in P8 now.
Yeah, didn't see what happened to Mazzles, but yeah, certainly Jay Hartnell was caught up in something. I believe actually Chunders and Jay Hartnell, the two Red Bull drivers, touched each other into turn 1. There was a little bit of contact there, and yeah, those yellow flags that we saw would have been definitely from Verona Flash, and then later on for Ian Marshall. But yeah, those guys on the medium tyres at the back, they're never going to last the rest of the race. In fact, the hards won't even last the rest of the race here from this beginning, so it's definitely a 2-stop strategy for those guys.
Yeah, I'm looking for Sophia, but also paid the price for hit the back of Craigo. Craigo hopefully hasn't sustained any damage. I wonder why have we got people swapping positions under the safety car. Just stay in formation, it's not hard.
Yeah, just seeing that, King Panda and Leon swapping positions, so not quite sure what's happened there. So yeah, King Panda is one of the big losers out of the first 2 laps, as he's down 5 positions from P1 on those hard tyres. But yeah, it didn't look like quite such a bad start for him. Obviously up towards turn 1, he had a lot of wheel spin, but he kind of gathered himself the rest of the lap.
Marzos went from P5 to P8 then, so I wonder if he just went off the track momentarily and those 3 took action on him, as Mays is in the pit lane on the hard compound tyres. This is a scheduled stop, or not a scheduled stop, but a pit stop under the safety car to put on a brand new set of meds and not take them towards the end because they can't last, and he will be joined down to P18 then. 2-stop strategy for him then, hard, medium, medium. Let's see how it pays dividends for him later on in this race as well. However, that was crucial for Harry Palmer to get a decent start off the line. Overtake the hard runner of Fandango in P2. In fact, he overtook the... Fandango didn't start on pole, did he? It was Baza. No, King Panda.
King Panda from pole, yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know why Panda's down to P6, because he was in... Fandango overtook him. Do you know what? In fact, do you know when Marshall crashed? I was looking at Marshall.
Yes.
and Panda was overtaken by 3 people, Fandango, Bazza and Craig. I'm looking at it now, the first lap, and he's fallen down the order. He's down into P5. I'm not quite sure what happened to Panda as well, but he dropped all the way back into P5. He was like quite a few seconds behind Craig, so he must have made a mistake somewhere on the course of that lap. That was in the last sector where he made a mistake, so Panda cost himself a lot of time now, but it was crucial for Palmer to get past Panda anyway, and he's up into P1 on those mediums. Fandango gaining 2 places now, up into P4 he goes then, as we'll have a look at the starting positions. Craigo down 1 place, his teammates gain 4, and that's crucial for him in the championship fight against Panda. Polishman's gained 3 ahead of Mazzles, who's gained 1. Chugs gained 5, so great start for him. Glowstick has gained 2, Chunda's 4, Eisen 1, that running 4, Wuban 4, and Sofian has dropped into 10 because of that pit stop. But the safety car is going away then, and it might be the only safety car I might see, as Verona Flash frustratingly leaves the session then, and probably looking forward to racing around here in Qatar, but unfortunately it didn't even last 1 lap or 1 corner.
Yeah, I don't even think he started the race, so yeah, that's so unfortunate for him. I would be devastated if he put hours of practice in and just to be kind of screwed like that. So Verona Flash, if you're listening to this, we're sorry for you, mate.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that, Verona. Hopefully you can focus on the next race and come back stronger. Anyways, the safety car has gone. Palmer will lead them away ahead of Fandango. Bazza sits at P3 with his teammate right behind him. We've seen good team play from both McLarens. Remember back to the Australia Grand Prix. Polishman is right behind Panda then, as we make our way now into turn number 1. Polishman trying to force the move there. Further behind, we've got the Alfa Romeo and the Mercedes fighting over P9 and P10. That's Glowstick making 1 place up as Chugs goes out wide there. Glowstick on the hard compound tyres, Chugs on the medium, so you expect it to be quick at this stage, but probably Glowstick was all over the back of it with the safety car restart, and Glowstick going wide there through turn number 7 to turn number 8 then, or as we make our way now into this left-hander we go. The AlphaTauri right to the back of the Aston Martin. I've not really memorised the corners around here, so apologies if I do get it wrong. That was turn number 6, sorry. And now we're making our way through turn 7 and turn 8 we go. I love this part of the track. It's great to watch the MotoGP riders too around this part of the track. Making our way now into the slow speed corner into turn number 10 we go. Now through turn 11. This triple right-hander, and this is where King Panda, I think, made a mistake. But we did see Marshall crash here. Look at that, Leon's all over the place, the triple right-hander here, but Panda has to back out of it as there's no way past for him on that occasion. Now making our way into turn number 15 as we go. Last corner is turn 16. 16 turns around here in Qatar. Polishman was actually all over the back of Panda, putting pressure on him. Glowstick, the first man in this race to get a 3-second time penalty as they go side by side. Chugs is coming back on Glowstick. We've seen Glowstick go out wide a few times and it's cost him a position towards Chugs, but Glowstick's in the slipstream now on the Mercedes. That's keeping Chunders at bay as Glowstick pulls out to go down the inside then of Chugs. Into turn 1 we go. Let's see if he's got the position of Chugs. This is where they fought last time out on the last lap. Chugs has the inside line on this corner now, but Glowstick is alongside him still. But Glowstick will have the advantage with the inside line coming up to the next 2 corners then. As we make our way into this double right-hander we go. Chugs will try to stick around the outside, but Glowstick claims the racing line and stays in P9.
Yeah, so further on in the midfield, as you can see here, that Roland's actually dropped 2 seconds already to Chunders in P11. And as well, Wuban and Asa Ferraris, they were getting in each other's way, trying to battle for position with that Roland. So unfortunate for him, for Asa that he's lost 2 positions there. But yeah, not sure what's happening to that Roland. Maybe it's just he's struggling with the warm-up on those hard tyres.
And he has Wuban for company is all over the back of him too for good measure. Sofian there, we're looking for a comeback drive now down in P14. He's gained 2 positions already. Up into 14th behind Wuban on the medium compound tyres then with that Roland yet to dispatch, but they actually fighting with Aizen, then they go side by side. I bet Sofian has the place to himself now. Maybe made a mistake because he was ahead of Aizen before, but he still remains there. But I've seen these drivers struggling, like in the midfield here. They're all over the place. They're scrubbing all over the place. Like they're not really taking the race in line. They just keep oversteering off the track. But Panda then will not have DRS yet because it's activated on the next straight. There's only 1 DRS detection point around here. Here comes Panda on Leon. Then I've seen Leon struggle around here so far. Look at the Aston Martin down the inside. It's perilously close between Polishman and Leon. Then headed into turn number 2 we go. and Leon has the advantage, and he remains in P6 then, being overtaken by Panda. Polishman fancy one up the inside, but Leon claims the racing line and stays in P6 for the time being. Yeah, look at these guys going out wide. I've noticed that every single lap they've been through here, it's quite a difficult track to stay in rhythm and stay in line there. It's so easy to go out wide as well. They're squirming through the corners as Muzzles actually goes out wide, along with Glowstick as well. They're taking different lines, and they're struggling so much as Chugs is now alongside Glowstick, but Glowstick should have it covered then. He goes a bit wide, coming out of turn number... Oh, that was so close then, but thankfully not in the spin was Chugs.
Yeah, so yeah, Glowstick's there has got his 3-second time penalty, as you say. A lot of drivers going off the track here. They're struggling with the new track here in CRL, but yeah, it's also a track that's so heavy on the tyre wear, so you'd be surprised after 5 laps on these mediums, they're probably not going to be feeling that good either. So yeah, it's really important. You need to keep it so clean, keep it so gentle within the track limits. That's really going to make your race around here. But it's already beginning to be kind of an A race and a B race with that Roland as well. 3.2 seconds from Chunders, so the 2 Ferraris behind him are really going to be looking to pass him at some point to try and close that gap.
And I saw Muzzles had a bad exit on the final corners. Panda goes defensive on the inside as Liam is coming back at him. These two dropped out this 1 second range of Craigo. In fact, nobody's in a 1 second range of each other in the top 5 then. But Panda is the DRS train provider now. He's got a lot of drivers right behind him of DRS then, so he's the leader of this second group. However, first, second, third and fourth, all outside of DRS range of each other, as you expect, because they're both split on the hards and mediums. Looks like the two teammates of Craigo and Bazza have gone for different strategies as well. I'm not quite sure if it's pre-planned or not, but they will be pitted on the same time then, as one will go further than the other. Craigo will extend his stint on the hard compound tyres, whereas Bazza will be pitted shortly, about lap 12, 13, I'm not quite sure. Midfield mayhem going on here with Jay Hartnell versus the Aston Martin. Sophia's dropped places actually. He was up into P4 one time, now he's down into P17, fighting Jay Hartnell around the outside. It's turn 7 and turn 8 we go, and looks like Sophia might have to back out of it on this occasion. So Sophia then is going backwards. He's showing some tremendous qualifying pace, but in the race looks like he's struggling because we did see him outbrake himself, which caused him full wind damage and fall down the order to make a pit stop as well under the safety car with Ross and Jay Hartner. Ross has also struggled out there too in the AlphaTauri, so not many people there liking the track. I've seen a few track extensions just right now as Ross there went out wide at the exit of turn 13. That was. Glowstick did the same thing last lap as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, drivers are really struggling with the track limits here, and Ross getting a bit squirmy on the throttle there, coming out of the middle sector. But yeah, guys at the top, Palmer sitting pretty at top in P1, Fandango there and on a hard tyre in P2, approximately 1.7 seconds off the gap. And yeah, the two McLarens running well. Let's see how they do. I think I think for me, those two have got a really good driver pairing. They really understand each other during a race as well. So yeah, let's see how they get on.
I agree, as Eyes is going side by side now with Ross into turn number 4. We go into turn 5 with this double right-hander. Can't find no way past the AlphaTauri on that occasion, but in this braking zone, a turn 6, look at Sofian up the inside there. This is where he outbroke himself on lap 1, and he's overtaken there. Jay Hartnell, Glowstick picks up a 6-second penalty then. Unfortunately, the only driver in this race to pick up penalties, but I'm pretty sure there's many more to come, as plenty of people around here are extending the track limits as well in the race pace. Just really struggling to stay consistent around here at Losail. A very punishing track indeed on track limits. A very hard save ERS as well, as many of these drivers are quite low. But I want to check Palmer's ERS management, because obviously in qualifying he had a good amount of ERS before the line and he's got 32%, whereas Fandango's used it all to try and get himself in a 1 second range of DRS then. So Fandango is derating and he'll stay like that until the pit stop or safety call, unless he gets behind Palmer within 1 second, because it's very hard to save ERS up on yourself, as Leon is swapping places with Panda once again then. So those two there being stuck in a DRS train with each other, can't really dispose each other as they would have wanted. Leon then is up into P5. Glowstick, however, made an overtake on Chugs, but he's come back around the outside. These two have been fighting quite a long time now, Chugs and Glowstick. Chugs up the inside of Glowstick there the Red Bull getting out of shape there. Chunders just avoided Glowstick, but we're headed into the double right-handed now. Let's see what happens between these two, and Glowstick there backs out of it. He has been struggling with track limits. He's going very wide. Is the Alfa Romeo driver, Scotsman, not really carrying the speed he really would have wanted to do those corners. You can see they're sliding on the braking too, with the rears locking up. And Panda once again, Leon picks himself up a 3 second time, but he spins! Ooh. Panda has sent Leon into a spin, And Leon there, fortunately, carrying the same speed as Panda, has cost him a lot of places now. He falls down probably into last place. Can't reset the track, of course. He can now because I'm not watching. But Polishman then will fight Panda from here on in.
Yeah, so yeah, I saw Leon get a little bit wobbly coming out of the corner before the spin, and then once again mid-corner, he kind of, it looked like he was kind of already spinning, and then that's just caught Panda out, and he's tagged him and sent him around into a full spin, so unsure if he was going to be able to catch the car, but Panda not quite enjoying the first quarter, the first third of this race. I feel like he's carrying quite a lot of drag around here, as drivers behind him are really not struggling to stay with him during the straights.
But here comes Polishman, and then he comes around the outside of Panda, but Panda breaks lanes too with the Aston Martin going all. I love turn one. Oh, there's a spinner! Mazzles has spun, but thankfully he hasn't hit the wall. He's just got a bit too greedy on the throttle there, and unfortunately has lost the rear end of the car, sends it in the gravel there, and hasn't hit the wall there, so he could continue, but he won't be happy with that one. More Mazzles, as Polishman then did stay in front of Panda on that occasion, but these two fighters cost him a lot of time then, and this is a very interesting part of the race now. We can see there different things going on, different strategies, and not a lot of DRS trains. I thought there'd be a massive DRS train going on throughout the whole race, as I watched in PSGL a few days ago, but Sofian then comes onto, oh, that rolling there, did he force him out wide in turn 6, I wonder, because we did see him outbrake himself quite a few times, as A's in there tapping the back of the Alpine, and that's where Leon spun as well. Thankfully the Alpine doesn't spin on that occasion, but gotta be very careful through there, because some people are struggling in the high speed corners and some people are more confident than others, and therefore that's why they're spinning. But Qatar Grand Prix then proving to be a test for a lot of drivers, because they're really struggling around here in terms of like keeping the track limits. As Fian there was very close to turn 12 for not keeping the track limits, but exit of turn 13 as well is another place to catch drivers out. Turn 15 as well is very easy to go out wide through there, especially with the amount of understeer you carry through those corners as well with dirty air. Joe Hartnell is in the pit lane then for his first pit stop, no, his second actually, because he pitted under the first safety car. But yeah, a lot of drivers then not really liking the Qatar Grand Prix, but Palmer is coming in the race by 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, so Jay Hartnell coming into the pits there, booting on a fresh set of hard tyres. So that really tells you about how much graining they're getting on those medium tyres. They're really burning through those tyres, and it's really struggling. They're really seeing the lack of grip up there, it seems, whilst they approach the midway part of this race. But yeah, let's see how Jay Hartnell gets on. He's really looking for an undercut on the drivers in front, as he's got a really strong battery life as well. Coming out of the pits, he's on almost 100% battery, so yeah, it's going to be push from here for him.
And Palmer, despite being on those medium compound tyres, I dare say their peak performance have gone by now. There's still life left in them, but I dare say the crossover point between the hards and mediums should be around about now, or just in a few laps time, and he's actually extending the gap as Azen picks himself up a 3-second time penalty for him. But yeah, Palmer's still extending that gap over Fandango. He's still got a lot of, not a lot, but there's still a good amount around here in Qatar, despite being the leader of this Grand Prix, and he's 3.2 ahead of Fandango, who's struggling to save ERS, hence why he can't really close in on Harry Palmer unless Palmer's tyres drop off dramatically in the next few laps. But the hard compound tyres then should be better at this stage in comparison to the mediums. Then we see Craigo, who's just lingering just outside the 1 second range, momentarily gets in under a second, but drops out eventually. But his tyres should be better than his teammates then, so I wonder if Craigo gets any closer, will both McLaren swap, I wonder, to allow Craigo to get through and pull away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on board with Fandango and Palmer there, as they're both going down the straights. I think Palmer had approximately 5 miles per hour more at top end speed, and that's due to the clipping that Fandango's experiencing with the low ERS management. As we know, with the less than 10%, the car goes into harvest mode, and that's really suffering. He's suffering there on the straights. So all that time he's gaining in the middle sectors, he's losing that on the straight to Palmer, and that's really costing him.
It is indeed, and none of them having DRS in this race as well. It proves to be how skillful he could be, try and save that ERS and when to deploy it and when not to. But Fandango there on his own in P2 can't really close, and his Panda goes out wide coming through turn number 15 then, so that definitely give him a warning. Track limits is definitely crucial. That's not turn 15, sorry, I was a bit too before that, but went to trap about handed that, and that was turn number 10 where he did it, I think. This is turn number 13, and I'll go into turn number 14. Here we go then, in this fast left-hander we go, as Sofian there, or Polishman, gets out of shape. By the way, Polishman not being I think it's his first race of the season so far, so this is a great drive from him currently in P5. Started in P10 and he's currently in P5. And after a difficult season last season, it must be said, after a few speeds, you raced against him, Kalen, so you exactly know what he's been through in the last few races, but he's currently strong in P5.
Yes, yeah, I've raced against him quite a lot of times, and yeah, a quick driver is one of the talented guys here at CRL, and yeah, but this is absolutely, we are at the crossover here. I'm on board here with Craigo, and he sneaked into the DRS of Bazza. I know he's really closing the gap on those hard tyres as well with Fandango. He gained five tenths there on Palmer in P2 and P1, so yeah, well, I think we'll be seeing the medium tyres pit soon.
Yeah, the battle between the podium between both McLaren drivers who worked really well in the Australian Grand Prix. Craigo was the obstacle in the way for Fandango, Lozano Zera and Palmer, where we saw that very intense moment between Lozano and Palmer, who went side by side for almost 2 or 3 laps together. Craigo was still there in P3, and they made contact with Fandango as well going into turn number 6, but no crashes there. But he was a force to be reckoned with, because Bazza actually pulled a 3.2 second gap, I remember you saying, in the Australian Grand Prix. Then the safety car came out, actually benefited Bazza because he didn't lose too much time, plus he was on the fresher tyres as well. But Panda has picked up a 3-second time penalty. Bazza Fox then is in the pit lane. Oh, that's lag, because I thought he was going to go straight into the wall there, but thankfully not. So he gets to the pit lane then unscathed as he pits over to the hardcore power tyres, and let's see how he does from here on in.
Yeah, and how kind of him to also give the DRS to Craigo. I think, I'm not sure if these guys party or not, but Craigo would have been hoping that Bazza would have pitted on that lap as well, just to release him into a bit of fresh air and see if he can start closing the gap, and the guys in the top 2.
And Glowsticks also pitted along with Bazza too, so he rejoins on the P50. But where does Bazza rejoin comparative to this? He finds a lot of traffic ahead of him. We've got Mays in the Williams versus that Roland in the Alpine. Then Mays will try and stick it around the outside to get the inside line. We'll see many battles through here, but they slightly touch, and Mays there offline and loses the car. And Mazzles then takes advantage of that. Mazzles, remember, spinning early in this race as well. He's on 13 uphold hardcore power tyres, so he hasn't pitted just yet, otherwise he'd be further down the field. So he's opted to stay out on those hardcore power tyres, just hoping for a safety car now to rectify, well, try to bring back some time from his race. But he's all over the back now of the Alpine of that Roland. But at the front then, we'll see if Palmer will pit at the same time where Bazza pitted as well. He's down in P15, and the gap was like 6 seconds between those two, I think. So Palmer's still got a lot of time in hand, but he's got a few laps extra to stay out there to prevent the undercut from happening from Bazza. Bazza will be very quick at the stage, but bearing in mind though, he's got a lot of cars in his way to dispose of very quickly then, so he can't afford to be fighting amongst them, otherwise he'll lose a lot of time. We've seen plenty of things happen. There's Glowstick also picking up another penalty. That's 9 seconds for Glowstick then. This track proving to be very difficult for him to stay in the white lines. And Chunders versus Chugs then, as Chugs is in the pit lane and expectedly on the medium compound tyres.
Yeah, so I've been on board with Bazza, and he's closed a gap of 2 seconds in 1 lap to Leon in front of him. The problem that Bazza faces here is that he's got 3 cars in front of him, all on 13-lap old hard tyres, and they're not going to be pitted anytime soon. So he's racing for position there, and he needs to get on with that quick, otherwise Craig is going to jump him, and he's not going to get anywhere near Palmer. So this is really playing into Palmer's hands here on those old medium tyres at P1.
It is indeed then, so we'll see how long Palmer can extend his stint on the medium compound tyres too and take the hards. However, despite all of that, Palmer has pulled a 4-second gap there, so he's showing some monumental pace on Fandango, who's on the hard compound tyres. The gap is now 4 seconds there, so if he can keep doing this on the medium compound tyres, this will pay dividends for him later on in the race as well. Fandango will obviously have those hard compound medium compound tyres towards the end, as Bazza there does a lovely switchback on the Mercedes and Leon, and he takes him on for P12 then, as his next target is the Alpine of that Roden, who was fighting with Mazzles earlier on, but Mazzles actually overtaken him and he's pulled away too. Palmer is in the pit lane. You can see the speed difference between Bazza and that Roden on all the tyres then, so Bazza going to be really careful not to hit the back of him. Palmer's in the pit lane then, so let's see where he rejoins. To come is this triple right-hander. Bazza in the worst place possible to be stuck behind, because obviously on fresher tyres you carry a lot of speed, whereas guys on all the tyres won't do, so that's the worst place to be stuck there. As you can see that the Alpine almost goes sideways, but he's in the pit lane then, so not for much longer he gets stuck behind him. But let's see where Harry Palmer rejoins. Has he lost a lot of time towards Bazza on newer hards? We're about to find out, as Bazza has DRS for good measure as well to blast his way down the straight, 1 kilometre straight, and Palmer, you can see him in the foreground just exiting the pit lane and remains in P8 then ahead of Bazza, crucially for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Palmer comes out the pits, then I think he's just about to rejoin and just in front of Chugs as well. So he's out there now on a fresh set of medium tyres. So he's going to be looking to blast his way through the field as well. So interesting to see how he gets on. But yeah, not the opening few laps that Baza would have wanted on those hard tyres, getting stuck in the triple right-hander there behind Leon and co. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, King Panda as well. I'm not quite sure what happened to him on the first lap because obviously I was up with Ian Marshall. But Bazza's going around the outside, and that is a very good move there from Bazza. He disposes Basil's very quickly. Still out there on the old 15 lap old tyres it seems, but he'll be pitted very shortly then to go on the medium compound tyres. Chugs, however, picks himself a penalty as Craigo is in the pit lane then. So the hard runners didn't really extend their stint that much, only about 2 or 3 laps against the medium runners then, as they'll take their tyres towards the end. Polish man is also in the pit lane then. What a great race he's running so far, and hopefully can keep it up for the remaining 12 laps this race, bearing in mind that those two will have the medium compound tyres on, so they'll be very quick on the second stint and keep an eye on for them then. And let's see where Craig rejoins in comparison to Bazza, as they were very close before the pit stops. Polish man comes out of his box then. Let's see where Craig is. Palmer's on the back. He can't afford to be messing around like that on Eisen. He's got to pick his line and stick to it, because he was swapping from left to right trying to force a dummy, but you don't want to be doing that against a driver on older tyres, because it's not really worth it, like Sebastian Vettel did on Valtteri Bottas, where he had to make that move because Hamilton was hunting him down to the undercut, I think, in Spain 2017. But where is Craig? Craig is obviously rejoined behind Bazza, being on older tyres, but he should be quicker than his teammate. And look at this three-way battle between Chugs, the Aston Martin, and King Panda. That was very close there, and super close once again. And this is going to be very hectic if these three continue swapping like this, because contacts be made as well if you don't be careful. Polishman and Panda were fighting for track position. Polishman has actually rejoined ahead of Panda despite being out there for one more lap. Was Panda to the undercut, but Polishman stays where he is then, and he's hunted down Chugs. He's on newer hard compound tyres, so he just pitted a few laps ago. Fandango's in the pits, Kalen. Very interested to see what happens then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Palmer's pitted slightly earlier, but Palmer has 4-second gap when he pitted. I think he should be safe from the overcut here, but yeah, a lot of different things going on. There was a big undercut there by Bazza on Craigo, so there was Craigo was just about to make the overtake on Bazza before Bazza pitted, and he's come out a good 4 or 5 seconds in front.
Tells you how. Oh, there's a spinner in the background. That's Panda. His race has gone bad to worse. Our pole sitter is tumbling down the order then, and ever since lap 1 hasn't really recovered, unfortunately for him then. So he rejoins that at P14. Strong in qualifying, but in the race pace not to be on that occasion. But Palmer is right at the back of Sofian then. Sofian obviously had his own problems on the first lap of the race as well, I think it was, or I can't remember what happened to him, because there's been plenty of action. As Chunda is on the soft compound tyres then, so that's very interesting to see if he can take those towards the end, if he can or not. But Sophia's got out wide, opens the door for Palmer, and Palmer says thank you very much, I don't need a second invitation to go through, and he takes P1 where he started as well, where he was throughout the whole race as well. So ever since the lights went out, he's been a P1 majority of the race and snatches it back away from Sofian then. So let's see what the scenario is. Sofian and Aza hasn't pitted yet, so Bazza, Fandango, and in fact, Bazza has actually overtaken Fandango, Kalen. He's actually pulled a massive undercut despite, I think, Bazza being 3 seconds behind before the pit stop, so that's a massive undercut. But bearing in mind, though, he's on brand new mediums as Fandango, so he should be quick at this stage.
He has. You'd really expect that Fandango would be really close.
Sorry, mate, he picked up a 3 second penalty. That's what happened.
That's so unfortunate there for Fandango, but I think he's got the tyres to get in front of Bazza and to start closing that gap to Palmer, but that 3 seconds is really going to kill his race, and for me, I think that's going to seal the deal for Palmer.
It is, mate. Palmer out there in P1 looking for his first victory in CRL after so many attempts like George Hargreaves. He's finally got a chance, and hopefully for him nothing could go wrong as Polishman up into P6. And also a shout out to the Aston Martin driver formerly in the Williams along with his teammate Nacho, and looks like Polishman is really starting to show his pace then on his return to racing after taking a break after spinning out so many times last season. Not obviously a dig towards him, but that's what happened. But Chunders is now fighting with Ross, as both on different tyres, as Craig's got past Bazza then. up into P4. Craig's weaving left to right, so I wonder if Baz will let him go because they're on different tyres now. Craig's on fresher mediums, and Baz has given a place up towards Craigo then. So he's let Craigo to fight Fandango. Let's see if Craigo can pull the gap down now on Fandango. Those two McLarens are working well against each other, aren't they, Keelan?
Yeah, as I said before, I think these two have got the best understanding on the grids. They're really becoming good friends on track, and that's sometimes not always the case. I've seen a few rivalries within CRL with teammates, and they don't always get on the best. But yeah, Craigo and Baz are really working well together, and yeah, Craigo on a slightly fresher tyres, on the faster set of tyres, and yeah, he's going to be pushing towards Fandango now to creep up within that 3-second time penalty.
And Mazel's been overtaken by Chugs as he's in the pit lane, but the race winner of the penalties so far goes towards Glowstick, who's currently in the top 8, but I don't think he'll be there that long, as Fandango then is right behind Sofian. He can't afford to squabble with Sofian that much. He's got to dispose him very quickly as Fandango. If he doesn't do so and gets stuck behind the Aston Martin, he will be under pressure from Craigo then. So it's very important now for Fandango to make no mistakes and try and cleanly overtake Sofian, because he picked up that 3-second penalty as well to his name. You can see in the slow speed corners that Sofian is really struggling to get the power, and Mays has retired. Wow, that's a virtual safety car. Where's that? That's interesting. That's on the straight. What did he do there?
That was in the straight. That was coming out of the pit exit, it seems, but interesting.
Oh wait, there's the Aston Martin coming out. It's a safety car, Kalen. That is a safety car, because the Aston Martin, it says virtual, yes, but the safety car's out.
Full safety car coming out of it, turn 1 now, it looks like. And I'm not saying the graphic yet.
Maybe a graphic glitch, but yeah, Mays has crashed out. I don't know how he's done that. Did he come out? He didn't just come out of the pit lane, because it says fire lap on mediums then. So did he? Oh, look at this then. This is very interesting. Palmer in the pit lane, I think, to put on a brand new set of mediums. I don't think you want to risk softs unless you can take them towards the end. I've been proved wrong many times in Tier 4. And Sofian as well. That's paid dividends for Sofian, because he was a P2 going for a long stint, and now he can switch over to the medium compound tyres without any problems. I think...
Double stack.
Oh yes, indeed, as well, because Polishman's in the pit lane, so that's not worked as well for him. But they're at a distant gap, as Jay Hart now gets a drive-through penalty for speeding the safety car.
He did that last week, Jay Hartnell, didn't he? Unfortunate. But
so
yeah, the two McLarens there, double stacking. That's going to be really bad for Baz. He's going to lose the position, I fear.
I bet
he's got away with it.
I bet Baz regrets doing that. But anyways, like you said, he hasn't lost the position. I think there's a Red Bull coming on the straight who's staying out there so far. Palmer's on the mediums, Sofian, Fandango, Chunders, and Craig on the softs then. So let's see if Palmer has the pace like he did throughout the whole race, try and stay ahead of these soft runners. Bearing in mind, Sofian and Fandango now have got a 3-second penalty, but Sofian, after that spin, I think, early on in the race, I can't exactly remember what happened to him. He's no, he had tapped the back of Craigo, didn't he? Then he had lost an end plate, didn't he? So that's what happened to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so interesting. Palmer now on the fresh set of medium tyres compared to Sofian and Fandango on brand new soft tyres. So there's going to be another spectacular end to the race, I think. But we thought maybe not too many safety cars in this race. We've had 2 so far. I've seen quite a few spinners, but yeah, it seems that you can't get safety cars around here.
I'm going to nip to the toilet very quickly while the safety cars are killing.
Yeah, no problem. So looking at it, Palmer's going to really be looking at a good restart here, since Sofian and Fandango both got time penalties, and he's not going to be wanting to get caught up in that, since he's going to want to stay within those 3 seconds. Further back, Craigo and Baza have swapped tyre strategies. Craigo on a brand new set of soft tyres compared to Baza on medium tyres, so he's going to be, maybe Baza going to be playing a red gunner here for Craigo. But as well, further back, it gives King Panda now a chance to catch back up. He's not going to be wanting to burn through his soft tyres though during his catching up lap, and yeah, but it gives him a chance to get racy again, as we got quite a lot of time penalties around here in this Qatar Grand Prix. Let's have a look at that. So in terms of the time penalties, we got Sofian on 3 seconds, Fandango on 3 seconds with the fastest lap of the race currently, so he's within the top 10, so he's going to pick up a a point for that fastest lap, although a lot of drivers on fresh softs now, so perhaps that will change towards the end of the race. We've then got further back Chugs in P8 3 seconds, Dat Roland P9 3 seconds. As we mentioned before, Glowstick leading the time penalty standings. That's not what he's going to want to hear, but he has 12 seconds here, so he's not doing too well with the time penalties. And Ross 3 seconds, A's in 3 seconds, Jay Hartnell with another drive-through. I believe he got a drive-through in last week's race at the Australian Grand Prix, so he's going to be wanting to iron those sort of mistakes out for his championship. Leon, Wuban and Panda also in 3-second time penalties, as we see King Panda heading back out of the pits now. So he's pitted for the second time here in this Qatar Grand Prix for a fresh set of soft tyres. So yeah, he's going to be in the best position in terms of tyre life. But yeah, I don't expect the safety car to be out that much longer. I'm really thinking it's going to be in this lap and we're going to go racing. So yeah, as Mays leaves the session, that I believe was what brought the safety car out. But yeah, going to be here for an exciting end of the session, I think.
I agree. I was wondering what Mays did on the straight there. Was he battling somebody? He didn't come out the pit lane because he's on 5 lap old mediums, it says on the graphic.
Yeah, it must have been battling with somebody and perhaps got tagged and lost it. I didn't quite see it there at the back. I've been trying to keep up with the midfield on the back of the grid, but yeah, he didn't come out on a fresh set of tyres unless he pitted again to tyres that were already done 5 laps on the mediums. That's possible as well.
Safety car is in this lap. Verona Flash says, I was disqualified for going the wrong way. Had a normal start, didn't spin or anything. That's so harsh, boosts me from the game after one corner. So that's a shame for Verona Flash there. I would love to see his POV to see exactly what happened, but safety cars in this lap then. But unfortunately for Fandango and Sophia, and they picked up penalties and it's bunched up the whole field. Bear in mind the majority of the field has got penalties, but Chunders, Krieger, Baza, Polish man could find themselves on the podium depending if they don't pick up penalties themselves. Then we get racing once again. Then Palmer sorts the safety car restart, already pulls a distant gap over Sevilla, and they won't be challenged into turn number 1 unless Sevilla has the straight line speed to do so. But Fandango 1 second behind already. There's action going on here between Red Bull and the McLaren here. We're going into turn number 1 with Chunders and Krager. Chunders stayed out there on those 5 lap old soft compound tyres. He went from hards to softs. That's why he's up into P4, not making another pit stop yet again. But these soft runners will be much quicker, and I wonder if Chunders' tyres will make it towards the end or not. If they do, they could be at the end of their tyre life. Here comes Polishman then, up the inside into turn number 4 we go. Can he make it stick? Oh, so close here. Baza unfortunately gets squeezed out of the track limits there. But he stays into P6 as Polishman tags the back of Baza, but didn't send him into a spin. And hopefully hasn't broken his front wing, because the second Aston Martin has done that, and luckily for him he hasn't broken his wing like Safian did.
Yeah, absolutely. A great restart there for Panda. He's already pulled a second, or just over 9/10 of Sofian, and that's really, really useful for him since he's on the slower compound as well.
And look at this then, we've got Krager versus Chunders here, as Krager is on the freshest soft compound tyres, wants to get this move done. He's been stuck behind Chunders too long, he's allowed Fandango to pull away. The more this happens, the more Fandango and Sofian can pull away due to those 3 second time penalties we got. The batter from P4 downwards is very interesting, spicing up. Krager knows there's a podium on the cards here. He's looking to away past the Red Bull, but he can't find any. Can he do it into turn 1 though, with the straight line speed? There's an Alpine who's off the track, but Krager's off the track as well. He picks himself up a 3 second time penalty, and here comes his teammate now, Buzzer, and there's a safety car once again. Oh! Jeez. For the second week in a row, Krager has broke his front wing against Baza on the straight as well.
Yeah, seen that. Seen the orange front wing flash across my screen as I was on board with Polishman there watching that. And yeah, that was that King Baza brought the safety car out? Not sure how that happened then. It's been a chaotic end to this race.
I didn't expect many safety cars, but we've got 3 safety cars in this race. Then Krago has broke his front wing, not really reacted to Baza. Bearing in mind they were straight carrying a lot of speed, but Krago there not reacting in time, therefore lost his wing for the second time in a row. Because remember last time out at the Australian Grand Prix, where Chugs lost his broke his, when Chugs and Krago came together on the straight as they were battling with Harry Palmer. And Krager there moving left slightly towards Chugs, and both in the wall together. Chug was out of the race, Krager lost his wing, but yeah, second time on the straight that's happened towards Krager.
Yeah, definitely. Jimmy, what do you do here in this situation? You're Palmer, you're leading in a race. You got to stay out, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to stay out. You can't do a George Hargreaves and box towards the end of the race and fall down into 12th. So you got to stay out there, does Palmer. He had the pace initially, it looks like. So who's not to, what's not to say he's got the pace again when the safety car comes in. But Sophia and Fandango, this is frustrating, you know, because they're actually putting a gap towards 4th place downwards because they're carrying 3-second time penalties. So this has actually benefited Chunders and Buzzer because they haven't lost a lot of time like they did fighting with Chunders actually, but Chunders on the old softs. He's still in P4 by the way, is Chunders. Buzzer was about to take him on, but safety car came out and delayed that.
Oh, Craig is speeding in the pit lane, so his race has gone from bad to worse there. If he gets a chance, he should pit again to get that removed because, well, that 5 seconds with his 3-second time penalty, 8 seconds, that's going to kill him towards the end of the race. But, yeah, Chunder's looking really healthy for a P2 if he can stay with the pack. He does have slightly older soft tyres with a rather keen and quick Bazza behind him, but, yeah, really looking like he can get a P2 here, Chunders.
Yeah, 2 or 3 lap old different tyres can make a huge difference. Maybe not in real life, but in the game module itself is a huge difference, and that's why he was falling backwards. He's made up 11 places. He started in 50th place. Both Red Bulls, I remember, having difficult qualifying. Chunder's pitted from hards to softs, doing that long stint on the hards to go over to the softs. Then the safety car came out, was able to take advantage of everybody by staying out there that longer than everybody else. But yeah, he was really struggling in the second safety car restart. And now we'll have Bazza, Punishman and Chugs for company once again once the safety car goes in, because they were all over the back of him, which allowed Fandango and Sophia to pull away for their 3-second margin, which has been wiped out once again.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that safety car, even though it's closed the gap to Palmer, it's reducing the racing laps left available. And with Palmer having no penalties, you got to say, it's looking good for him.
On course for a win for his Palmer after 2 previous attempts back in Japan and Australia. 3rd time lucky for Harry Palmer, and yeah, when he wins this, if he does win this race, he'll be very happy. And Fandango there tried his best, unfortunately, but still P3 is a good result if he does stay there, because he missed our podium in Australia when he suffered throughout the last few laps of that race. Fell into P5 or P6 I think it was, but Bowser can still pick up a podium if he disposes Chunders and stays within that 3-second margin of Sophia, and Fandango might find himself into P2. But yeah, unfortunately for King Panda down to P16, the pole man just didn't go well after lap 1, after making the mistake somewhere on the lap in the 3rd sector where he fell from P2 to P5. Then the safety car came out, but yeah, crossed the line now, lap 26 out of 29. Won't much have racing laps left, but we'll see then. Will be major drama going on for the 3rd safety car restart, with people knowing that podiums on the cards, because majority of drivers have got penalties except Polishman, Bazza and Chunders. Those 3 were fighting hard for the podium.
Might be worth mentioning here, Jamie, Jay Hartnell, I saw him peel into the pit to serve his drive-through penalty at the end of the first, at the end of the lap, just the safety car just gone. Did he go in too early perhaps, because it's still showing there that he's got a drive-through to serve?
You're not allowed. You can't. You're not allowed to serve a. You're not allowed to drive a. I can't even speak. You're not allowed to serve a drive-through penalty under a safety car, I don't think.
Right. So he would have had to have crossed the line and then go in the following lap, or on that lap that he crossed the line. So, yeah. So that's really unfortunate for him. He's not going to be happy with that one.
Yeah, unfortunately Jay Hart now struggling around here in Qatar, but his teammate up there in P4. Safety car should go in at the end of this lap then to see some more racing action between these guys here. Palmer's done a fantastic job throughout the whole race, leading the majority of it. He has got softwooders behind him, but bearing in mind though, those 2 have got a 3-second time penalty, so Palmer there looks very comfortable, including the safety car restart as well last time round, as he was able to pull that gap over those 2 as well. So should nothing go wrong here for Harry Palmer, just keep it nice and clean all the way to the end. He was looking forward to the Qatar Grand Prix, was Palmer, and it's backing up as well with some great pace, and also in first majority of it ever since the lights went out. Took first away from King Panda. A contrasting race between King Panda and Palmer. Panda unfortunately dropping all the way down to the field, and his championship rivals is Palmer and Bazza up there in a crucial P1 and P5, but there's like 3 laps left to go yet to still determine the results then between those guys who got penalties and who haven't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people haven't got penalties in this race, and I a lot of them have. So those people who haven't pitched the penalties, like we said a bit earlier, can help them up towards the end of the race. That's all about, not picking up penalties, and that'll gain you a lot of positions if a safety car does come out, like in this scenario right now. But the safety car has came in there once again as Palmer will continue to lead. Sofian, this time around, looks like he's closer on the straight than the last straight. Look at Chunders right behind Fandango. Here comes Sofian, then up the inside into turn one we go. Can Palmer try to stick around the outside now? Yes, he can, and he remains in P1 for the time being then, as Fandango there under huge pressure from Chunders, but he's staying that really well, and he stays in P3 then, as he's got the guys behind on fresher tyres, poised to make a lunge on Chunders on all the tyres there. 9-lap old tyres, bearing in mind though, 2 safety cars would have helped his tyre life as well for good measure, so his tyres shouldn't be too old at this stage of the race then.
Yeah, absolutely, and Sofian rejoining his battery down the main straight to try and make a move on Panda, and I feel like that was possibly the only opportunity of the race for him, but it was so close. I was so scared for some collision there. That would have not gone down well on the paddock.
Yeah, especially Palmer leading the majority of this race as well. And like you said, if Sofian made contact there, Palmer will be absolutely frustrated after trying to go for 3 wins in a row. But however, Chunders holding his ground in P4, did a fantastic job to defend. He's got 2 more laps of this. Also, can he stay with that 3-second gap as Leon picks up another penalty? And can he try and stay within that 3-second gap, Chunders? Is his tyres too old? I'm not quite sure, but Chugs has been lurking in the background of Bazza. He tried to move up the inside. He actually tapped the back of McLaren, but didn't send him into a spin, and no further contact was made as Craigo there fighting with Mazzles, as Aizen fighting as well up into P9. He goes ahead of the AlphaTauri. Is Basil close on this occasion? Yes, he is. They're using the battery. Chunders goes to the right. They both make side contact there as we head down into turn one we go, and Basil will take away P4 as Jay Hartnell disqualified from the race for not serving his drive-through penalty, and that's going to lead to 4 people not classified at all. He'll fall down as P19, unfortunately for him. And yeah, it's been a bad race from the get-go for Jay Hartnell, unfortunately. But his teammates up there in P5 looking to take some good points away if he can keep it like this. But he'll be definitely struggling in this stage of the race. As Chugs is going to go down the inside there, wheel bang. Chugs sends one up the inside like he tried to do on Buzz a lap ago. But looks like he made it stick then with a bit of contact involved. Hard but fair race, I dare say. And moves himself up into P5.
Yeah, Chunder's opportunity there for a P2 slowly falling away, slipping through his fingers. But yeah, Bazza, he's 3.6 seconds now off the lead, and well, let's see. I think with those 3-second time penalties for P2 and P3, he's the one now that I think he can get P2. So he really needs to close that gap and put himself in a position to get that.
Talking about closing the gap, Fandango's there. Oh, Sofian there! Almost lost it coming out of turn 15. Slided to the exit as he's under huge pressure from Fandango behind. But these two are under huge pressure themselves because they aren't able to pull that 3-second gap as Chunders picks up a penalty. I think Punishman's fallen down the order, by the way, down his P8. So I'm not quite sure what happened to him. He was in P6 a few laps ago, but now he's down his P8. Then he was looking on course for a podium. His glow stick there moved up through the field, but it won't count, unfortunately for him, as he's got a 12-second time penalty as he's been abusing the track limits of the whole race. As Glowstick still under pressure from Chunders, moves up himself onto P6. Would have been a good result for Glowstick, one of his best results in CRL, but unfortunately has that 12-second time penalty, if not more, if he's picked some more up. But yeah, Chunders there losing positions, been on all the tyres, not really benefited him in the long run. I thought that'd be a bit of a stretch of the soft compound tyres to be fitted onto lap 18, but yeah, he'll be falling backwards from here on in.
Yeah, unfortunate for him as we are on the final lap of the race, and Chunders, yeah, 11 lap hold soft tyres, so he's really not going to be, he's not going to have a lot of grip left on those tyres.
And Glowstick gets another penalty, so that must be 15 seconds for him at least. But Palmer there, what a fantastic job. He can smell a victory. Fandango all over the back of Sofian then, as Bazza's 1.1 behind. He should claim a podium, but he should get into P2 with Punishman gaining a few positions. Sofian is going off the track there at the exit of turn 13. Sofian spun, and Fandango spun as well. They both make contact, and they're both on the podium, unfortunately. That's frustrating there for Fandango, who's been driving a beautiful race, no mistakes whatsoever. Palmer comes across the line to win here in Qatar with Bazza and P2. Who gets a podium? Will Punishman get a podium for the first time in CRL? He's closing. Will he get P3? Yes, he does! He gets his first podium in CRL! What a drive from him to be able to turn it into CRL here. What a fantastic drive for Punishman to be up there once again. Unbelievable scenes there. Bazza and Sofian making contact there. One Aston Martin falls down and one rises.
Unbelievable there. What a crazy end to the race, and congratulations there to Harry Palmer. Thoroughly deserved. And if third time lucky was was decided, then well, that was that. Third time lucky. Two P2s and a P1. So he's got to be so happy with that.
Oh mate, you got to feel for Fandango all the bad luck he's sustaining so far, and he had some good pace in this race. He's into P10. That shouldn't where he be. He shouldn't have where he. Oh, I can't even speak now. Too much energy. Shouldn't have been. I'm not going to even say it. But yeah, P10. He doesn't belong there at all. But what a drive from Harry Palmer there. No penalties. Very consistent. Pulled the gap all the time in the race. Baza in P2 for P7. Polish man as well. Chokes P14 to P4. Mazel's in P5. Remember Mazel spun in turn number 1. He's back there in P5. So anything could happen here in Tier 4.
Anything can happen. Yeah, and
Don't know why it did that, but we're all here. Baza has joined the party. We're just waiting for Polishman. Baza, if Polishman doesn't join, I'll just start with you anyways. If he joins, he joins, and I'll start with him after you've done or something. But Kaylin, can you let Baz and Polishman know that we're doing interviews?
yeah, absolutely.
Baza then, mate. So you started. I can't remember. Was it P3 or P4?
7.
Oh yeah, of course it was. I just said it a few moments ago. Started P7, but on the first lap, King Panda, your championship rival, like I'm not quite sure what happened to him at the start of the race. So did he spin at the start of the race? Almost spin?
I weren't too sure, to be honest.
I think you moved up into P3 or P4. It was P3 because you and Craig were close together. So you had an amazing first lap from P7 to P3. So talk us through your first lap.
Yeah, so, I mean, people, it was just aggressive. And then you're just trying to line up where you think the debris or the chaos is not going to be. And luckily, like, I think there was 2 different incidents. Maybe one of them was Panda. So You just gotta, I'm just trying to back off and let some chaos happen and then pick my spot and get through.
I was wondering as well because you let Craig go through on your second stint on the hard compound tyres. When that safety car came out and you were both double stack, I bet you were frustrated that you let him go, didn't you?
Nah, because I mean he's let me through a few times, so just returning favour. And he was faster than me because we had Fandango had got past me, and I'd probably hold up my teammate by like 2 seconds. So I mean, obviously it'd have been better to be in front, but I mean I can't plan a safety car coming out, so just unlucky.
Yeah, as well. You, Craigo, and Chunders were all fighting for P4 because those two ahead had penalties. But we at all expected the podium after the second safety car came out.
Maybe even a win. I cannot believe everyone went on softs. There was going to be 2 under safety car. I mean, that's still 7 soft laps. They would have been cooked. Honestly, I could not believe it. I thought the mediums was the perfect tyre. Oh no, the second one. Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, that was frustrating.
Yeah, also that third safety car because everyone went on softs and you went to mediums. It looked like a few laps in you were almost getting swallowed up, but you managed to keep your positions as well. So it must have been a heart dropping to see those the podium slipping away. But actually, you got back up there, didn't you?
As long as I stayed in what position I was on the first lap, I knew I'd have him because the softs drop off around Qatar so quickly. With 2 laps to go, if that last safety car hadn't come out, I think I'd have been at least P3 on track anyway, without penalties.
You were one of the only ones, I think, in this race not to pick up a 3-second time penalty, so consistency was the main reason why you're up there, and pace as well, so you did a fantastic job. But do you know when the second, I can't remember now, it was the second or third safety car, definitely for sure, what happened between you and Craigo?
Oh, so I just overtook him, and then it come out, I was going to go in front of Trunders, so I had to obviously back off to not get an illegal overtake, and I thought he was still behind Trunders, so obviously I've just let off go of the accelerator, but he's actually pulled to go 3 wide, I think, so he's just going into the back of me.
Yeah, and like my situation. And so, do you and Craigo party or anything better? Because you've been really close together the last 2 races, and we've been saying here in the commentary that we think you two together are possibly the best driver pairing on the grid.
Yeah, never spoke to the kid.
Oh!
Really?
Yeah, only on like when we got paired together, I just said like if one of us are faster, just let each other through. But apart from that, no.
It seems you have a good understanding on track together.
Yeah. Can I just say, how have we had 3 safety cars in Qatar? It's not possible.
That's what I thought, but we had one on the first lap, didn't we?
3? How have we had 3?
I know.
We had a VSC. No, VSC waiting to safety car, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, 3 safety cars in Qatar.
We had a weird one because Maze crashed out on the straight, but I think you two were too far behind to see what was happening. But
Right.
did you when Fandango and Sofian crashed? I bet you were relieved, weren't you, on the final lap?
Well, barring unless you got penalties overturned. I mean, that last lap I was just like, right, because I know I was on 2 warnings. I think I was on 2 warnings anyway, so it was just keep it in the wide lines because I'm not going to drop 2.5 seconds to him.
And how hard was this race? Because I know plenty of people out there struggled to, well, in general, in the braking zone, high-speed corners. Were you struggling at all in this race?
No, just I think Palmer did the same strategy as me, and he was like 6 seconds ahead before I boxed, so he was just faster than me. Fandango had a better strategy than me, I'd say. But I said it last week in the interview, it was like Qatar, so many people have been practicing this trike, so I mean I like Qatar. It was a fun race I thought, so it was just about seeing where I was against other people.
Well, that's good to know. And so, how did you find the race tyre? What did you think was the best race tyre here for the mediums or the hards? It's good information to know for Thursday as well.
Well, I thought medium hard, and then the undercut with the hard would get me like 4 or 5 seconds, I hoped. because you don't really feel the hards drop off. It's just so consistent. So it was just trying to keep my mediums up to speed with Fandango, which I thought I was. But then I did undercut Fandango for about a lap, and then the medium was just faster. But for me, it was more important to have, maybe perhaps why I didn't get a penalty, not having the hards drop off, or having that drop off window with them.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, because I think when the first stint, Fandango was about, was he 3 seconds ahead of you in the first stint? And then when he pitted, and when you came out almost ahead of him, or did you get ahead of him? Because that was so close.
Yeah, I was ahead. I had traffic as well.
Yeah, that was so close between you two because you had a 3 second gap and you just pulled it down in one lap. That's just incredible.
Yeah, the undercut is crazy on this game, especially on highway tracks. So the little bit of practice I've done, well, literally just on my team, just the medium to hard undercut is, I thought, fastest. It was definitely fastest over 35%, but over 50 I think it's just too long for the hard.
Fair enough, mate. And the next race is in Shanghai, so how are you feeling for that one?
Is that China?
Yeah.
I love China. I love China. I hope I win. This is like the one I've like bookmarked to win. I love China, man. Please, Parva, go slow next week. For Christ's sake, I'm sick of you winning. Please, I'm sick of coming second.
I've only won once.
Third.
I'm sick of coming second.
Oh yeah, she went here this week.
I think your teammate won last time in Shanghai, last race, the first race of the season, so he's quite quick around there, it looks like.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm already getting excited.
Competition, mate.
And thank you, Bazza. Congratulations on your podium, mate. Well deserved, and kept out of trouble. Also picked up no penalties as well, so congrats on that P2.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Palmer, mate, just a massive congratulations towards you, because ever since the lights went out, you got past Panda, and ever since then you haven't looked back. How do you feel, mate, for your first win?
It was an interesting one. Multiple different strategies, but yeah, it feels good to finally win.
I don't know, because like, do you know in the first opening stint when Fandango was on the hard compound tyres, were you expecting him to close in on you at the like 10-11?
I got to, after the first safety car, I got to about lap 11 and my tyres were about 50%, and I was expecting him to close in. He closed in, I think it was about 3/10, and then the third safety car, as soon as it came out, I was so angry. No, the second safety car, sorry. Oh, I don't know which one it was. One of the safety cars came out, and I boxed for mediums, and everyone behind me came in for softs. And I thought,
the second safety car towards the end.
This is it. And then, yeah, managed to keep them at bay.
As soon as you realised that you pulled a big gap on Sophia early doors in that second safety car, did you realise, oh, I'm quicker than him already? So you were just comfortable ever since the one lap after the safety car?
I wouldn't say I was comfortable. I was struggling with track limits, especially through the triple right-hander, the third one. I had to start like dropping a gear, which it didn't cost me. I think that's what most people were doing, but yeah, it was a struggle. I think for some drivers, more and more.
And Sophia almost got you down to 10-1, but you held her around the outside. I bet you were nervous on that one, weren't you?
Yeah, I saw him on the outside, and I thought, I've just got to defend. I can't. I think even if he did get past, I think I would have stayed within the 3 seconds. But it would have been a struggle, so it's always better to just stay ahead. And then, obviously, looking at the gap after the race, it was good that I did defend.
Caden, you got any questions for Palmer?
Well, I'm looking forward to hear your take, Palmer, on consistency around this track. I think we saw 17 drivers with time penalties, 16 drivers with time penalties, and yeah, so obviously an important one to keep it within the white lines. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's difficult for most drivers. I think from what I saw and what I've heard, most people run in the same wings / generally the same setups. But some people just struggled. Some of the corners you've got to turn in earlier, which it throws a few people off, like the double right hander and the second one. If you like the slightest tenth too late, you'll get a 1, you'll go off track.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's a high downforce track here. Were you using high wings as well?
I was running about 50 front wing. I had no straight. I thought before the race I'd have no straight line speed, which I didn't compared to some others. But at the same time, it helped a lot through the corners, especially with the triple right. I think if I was running lower, then I wouldn't have got through
Yeah,
the triple right-handers.
interesting to know. Yeah, and with the fuel management and the ERS management, it's such a heavy track on tires, ERS, fuel. How much fuel did you take for the race?
I took +2 laps. Just
Yeah,
what I've discussed, and ended with +2 laps.
yeah, that seems to be the
I wasn't
meta here.
expecting 3 safety cars.
Nobody was, mate.
Absolutely,
Me and Kenny said it.
we did.
Also, Palmer, in qualifying, what was your reaction when you set the exact same lap time as Craigo?
I hadn't noticed it at first. It said I was really confused though because it said I had a purple track and my 3 sectors were purple, but I was P2. And then I went into the pits and I checked the sectors, and we were the same across the whole lap. So it did confuse me slightly, but
I was confused because I was saying Palmer's taking pole because he said you went fastest. I looked to the top left. I was like, hold on, he's in P2, so how's he gone fastest? It's a glitch. I realised, oh shh, they set the exact same lap time.
yeah, it was a bit confusing. I was in a party with Chugs, and even he was really confused.
Yeah, we all were. I think you were too, Kayla, weren't you?
Oh yeah, it was a weird scenario. So something that you don't see so often in league racing, especially.
And Palmer, your first win of the season, mate. How do you feel? Do you think, because your pace has been phenomenal in the last few races, including Austria, but unfortunately I wasn't there for Austria. I was there, but I lagged out. But your pace has been there for the whole season. Do you feel like you're in this championship hunt because one, you're in P3 at the moment, maybe P2 now, overtaking Baz, I think, and Panda because you're very close to him now. So do you feel confident in the championship fight?
Well, definitely, yeah. I feel like I've got a lot to play for, especially compared to my previous seasons. Yeah, just being in the top 3 for the 3 races I've actually finished is nice.
Yeah, 3 podiums in a row, and that's really great. Now converted to a win after 2 previous P2s, so you're definitely improving, and you're going to be very interested in throughout the whole season. And high stakes on you to see if you can become the Tier 4 champion. But obviously, Bazza and King Panda will come back stronger because obviously maybe this track didn't suit him. It did for Bazza, but King Panda, ever since pole, it just dropped away.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Panda. Anyway, I saw at the start I wasn't sure if it was just a better launch or if he was struggling, but yeah, it was interesting.
And your fellow driver, Polishman, as well. His first race back after a while. I bet you must be happy for him to get a podium too.
Yeah, it's always nice to see reserves, especially the ones that have stepped up recently, to be getting podiums and points finishes. Even Chugs, he was a reserve. He was unfortunate to get a P4. He was supposed to get a podium, but then obviously the penalties. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, but it's nice to see.
It is. And Kaylin, you got any last words?
I think that's it for me. Obviously, a super strong evening for you, Palmer, with King Panda picking up no points, and yeah, as far as my calculations are concerned, you're leading the championship.
Good to hear.
We move on to China for the next round of the season, but wait for Tier 1 because we're still here in Qatar for Tier 1 as well. So join me and whoever in the commentary box on Thursday, but on Monday we're back for China. Join me and Kaylin for round number 5 at the Chinese Grand Prix in Shanghai. Can Palmer maintain his championship, or will Bazza or King Panda come back strong in the next few races to try and stop Palmer?